The night was unusually quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your thoughts louder. Ryan sat on the rooftop of his house, his eyes fixed on the street light that flickered every few seconds. He hadn't slept in 2 nights. His phone was on silent, but the messages still came. Angry ones. Disappointed ones. Heartbreaking ones. And he deserved them all. 2 days ago, Ryan had made a choice. A small one in his eyes. But choices, like seeds, don't always show their consequences right away. It had started with a lie. Just one. He was late for college, again. His final exam was scheduled for 9 a.m. and he had overslept. In panic, he called his professor and made up a story. "Sir, I was in a car accident. Nothing major, but I couldn't reach on time." The professor, concerned and sympathetic, allowed him to appear for a retake the next day. That lie opened the door. Later that afternoon, Ryan posted photos on his Instagram, smiling with friends at a cafe, sipping coffee, no sign of any injury. He didn't think twice. But someone else did. One of his classmates who had seen the post shared it with the professor. The next morning, Ryan walked into the exam room like nothing had happened. But this time his professor's eyes were colder, distant. Halfway through the paper, Ryan was called to the office. The truth came out. Quickly, brutally. The administration confronted him. His professor, once his mentor, looked at him like a stranger. "You didn't just lie, Ryan," he said. "You abused trust. That's harder to fix than a failed exam." Ryan was suspended for misconduct. A note would be added to his academic record. His parents were called. But worse than all of that was the silence from his father. When Ryan came home expecting shouts, punishments, anger, his father simply said, "Sit," and handed him a cup of tea. He didn't yell. He didn't scold. He just said, "Tell me, why?" Ryan couldn't answer. The silence stretched between them like an ocean. Then his father spoke again. "When I was your age, I made a mistake too. I cheated on a test. Got caught. I thought it was the end of the world." He paused, sipping the tea. "But that moment taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. When you lose someone's trust, you lose a part of yourself." Ryan looked down, ashamed. His father continued, "You'll fix your grades. You'll finish your degree. But you'll never forget how this felt. That's the part that will grow you." That night, Ryan didn't sleep. Not because he was afraid, but because he had finally seen what he hadn't wanted to, himself. Not the grades. Not the followers. Not the fake confidence. But the version of him that had stopped asking, "Is this right?" Over the next few weeks, Ryan began to rebuild. He apologized, to his professor, his parents, and even to the friend who had reported him. Not everyone forgave him immediately. Trust, after all, isn't like a light switch. It doesn't come back the moment you say sorry. But slowly something began to change. He became punctual. He volunteered to help in class. He stopped editing his life for social media and started living it for real. One day, his professor handed him back a research paper and said, "This is the work of someone who's learned something deeper than textbooks can teach." That night, Ryan smiled genuinely for the first time in weeks. Because he knew, the mistake was still part of his story. But now so was the growth. Years later, standing at a podium as a guest speaker at a college seminar, Ryan began his talk with this. "I once lied to get out of an exam. I was caught. And it nearly derailed everything. But that mistake taught me more than any degree ever could." He looked at the rows of young faces before him, some curious, some bored, some just like he had been. He ended his talk with a simple truth. The real test in life isn't the one you write with a pen. It's the one where you decide who you are when no one's watching.